All right, what's up, everybody? It's Scott with Kingdom Gold. How's everybody doing today? This video I have been thinking about really, really since I got started with Kingdom Gold. And part of the reason for that is because I was very much inspired by this particular book that I'm going to talk about tonight. And I wish, I kind of wish I got commissioned for this because I feel like I've been telling basically everybody I meet that they need to get this book. Um, and and if I got a commission for that, I at least could go buy myself some lunch or something. Um, but yeah, we've got to do more. We cannot. We are well past the point of accepting status quo as okay and as normal. And I'm really hoping that 2020 woke up a lot of people to the fact that we are really just kind of one weird event away from disaster if we are not actively pursuing what's the right word? If we're not taking control of our life and if we're not doing everything we possibly can to make it in this world. And this message tonight is really talking to myself as much as me talking to anybody else, because I need a fresh dose of this as well. But I want to go ahead and talk about this book a little bit. And Grant, you can thank me later. Yeah, he'll probably never thank me. But this book, 10x Rule. I want to talk a little bit about this tonight, and I see that it threw off my white balance there a little bit, but that's okay. So, 10x Rule. Man, this book. So, as far as books that have changed my life, it's like the Bible, and honestly, probably this book right here. Um, this book has really challenged me in a very good and positive way to do more with life and to not let life happen to me and to to not just kind of sit back on my heels and just wait and hope that something comes by. And I'll talk a little bit about more of that in a second, but I just kind of wanted to show everybody 10x Rule. Guys, you got to get this book. I highly recommend the audio book because the author's name is Grant Cardone, and he actually does the audiobook presentation on Audible, and it's really good, and you really can hear his passion behind what he writes. I got the hard copy version too because I wanted to take notes in it and kind of study it a little bit more. But guys, you got to get this book. And what he talks about in the book. So let's just say, for example, okay, a lot of us have big dreams, and a lot of us would like to do more in life and would like to be more in life. But then at the end of the day, it's like, what are we doing to make that happen? What kind of effort and what kind of action are we putting to the dreams and the aspirations that we have? I'll just kind of talk personally for a little bit. You know, for me, it was always, I want more financial security for my family, but also like I'm a generous person by nature, and I'm not trying to brag by that. Just like I like to help people. I like to, pay for somebody's lunch if they're having a bad day or something like that. And it's like I can't be generous if I have nothing to give. Like if I'm struggling myself, it's very hard. It's very hard to like pay for somebody's lunch or anything like that if you're struggling yourself, right? And for the longest time, I just felt so like unfulfilled because I felt like I wasn't living out my purpose. Like, I want to help that person on the street, or I want to help that single mom pay a car payment, or I want to help whatever. But I couldn't do it for so many years because I wasn't taking enough action, and honestly, I didn't realize I wasn't taking enough action. And then, I'll give a shout out to my friend Aaron. Aaron told me about this book, and and man, it really challenges you that we cannot let life happen to us. We cannot just sit back and hope and pray and dream and wish that something good will happen. Yeah, it's good to pray and it's good to wish and it's good to dream, but then at the end of the day, what kind of effort are you putting to that dream that you have? There's a friend of mine. I'm not going to mention his name because this isn't really a good example. But there's another friend of mine that I talked to, and we have talked for probably, I don't know, 6 out of the past however many years I've known him. Just like how cool it would be to have like residual income and have a business and stuff like that. And then, I read this book. I got fired up. I was like, bro, let's do something together. And he was kind of like, well, I don't know. And I don't know if I'd be good at that. And I'm like, I don't either, but let's do it together and figure it out. Well, and he didn't want to get out of his comfort zone. And he was just so like enveloped in his comfort zone that he couldn't get out of it. And man, we just, I was like that too. So I can't, I can't say I'm any better or worse than him, but I was like that too. And I was just, waiting for something to happen, waiting for my big break. And I was waiting for, for God to intervene and for God to just like magically drop, $18 million dollars from the sky or something like that. And this book made me realize like how much time I was wasting, you know, just hoping something would happen. And when I finally woke up to that, I was like, wow, I've really just been kind of sitting back in life, and I need to be more, take more initiative in life. And I don't want to say be more aggressive, but that's kind of like for lack of better words. I need to be more aggressive with life and just do more and be more. And there's reasons for that. Like that's what's so great about this book. It's like it's not just about like making more money or having a better life for you. He talks about the reasons and the moral obligations you have to be as much as you possibly can be. So I'll give you a couple examples again, me personally. One of the I know a lot of people that have like special needs, kids, special needs, siblings, whatever, and they don't come from a whole lot of money. And kind of going back to like the generous part of my nature, it's like, man, I would sure love to help those people even more than like whatever help they're getting now. And then, God forbid, but if something were to happen to their parents, or if, whenever their parents pass on, I don't know what's going to happen to those people. So it would just be like, for me, it would be cool if I could help take care of those people. Or, for me, especially being a dad now and like knowing how many fatherless kids are out there and how many single moms are out there struggling and even single dads struggling. It's like, man, it would just be great if I could help those people. And, I realized that is why I have to be successful. So think of it this way, if let's say there's just a single mom out there and she doesn't have a car. And let's just say for the sake of argument that because of my extra efforts, I'm able to help her get an extra car or to get a car, period. Well, now she can better take care of her family. She can, get a better job. She can, go get groceries, whatever. And because I was able, but because I had a different circumstance than her, because I was able to help her out, her whole family for generations to come is positively affected. My own kids, if I can show my kids how to be successful and then they can be financially independent, then they can help everyone around them. A lot of us have like aging parents and parents that have medical needs, or maybe they have to go into a nursing home or something like that. Who's going to pay for that? A lot of our parents, they kind of grew up in the middle, so to speak, of what I like to call like the old financial wisdom and the age of today, where they were right in the middle, so they might not have enough in their 401k, or maybe they didn't even have one, or maybe were relying on their pension and the company stopped the pension. What if your parents can't pay for health care? What if your parents can't pay for whatever facility they need to be in? Then what are you going to do? You're just going to let them, land out on the street? Or, what if there's something going on in your church? What if you need to, I don't know, what if anything happens? It's like we cannot, we literally cannot afford to just sit back and be passive about our lives anymore. We have to do as much as we can all day, every day to be successful, not just for us, but for our society, for our communities, for our families, for our what's the right word, the state of our society, like just to be able to help people. We're in the Baton Rouge area, and there's so many, homeless people, and there's so many, just like a lot of crime going on right now, and all the vast majority of that is from like bad influences and people making bad decisions. And how can you help those people if you are in a state where you can't be generous and you can't help fund programs, or you can't help, even directly, like help somebody pay for a meal or something like that. We have to start taking the responsibility for the world around us on our own shoulders. It's so, and again, I'm preaching to myself. I shouldn't say preaching, but I'm telling this to myself just as much as anybody else, because I was stuck in this, and it's hard to, sometimes it's hard to stay out of that mindset. Oh, someone else will do it. Oh, someone else will fix that. Oh, someone else will help that person. It's like, no, why don't you do it? Why can't you be the bridge that gets that person from where they're at to where they could be? Why can't you be the person that takes that step up? And man, if we just did that, even if a percentage more of us just did that, then our world and our lives would be so much better than what they are now. We would have so much more financial freedom. There's so much financial stress and financial burdens right now, and a lot of it is because what do? We go to work and we come home, and that's it. We don't go to work and study. We don't go to work and work on our own business. We don't go to work and, I don't know, do whatever else. We come home and chill, right? And that is the culture that we have been taught. And that culture is just, it's not going to cut it anymore, guys. It's not good enough anymore. We have to, take this life by the horns and really make the most out of every opportunity. I'll just give a quick story from the book because it was really funny to me. Grant had a client. He had a client that called him. It was like, Grant, I think it was like, I don't know, $10,000. He's like, Grant, I need $10,000 for payroll by like next week. And and I guess Grant knew his client. He's like, hey, you watching the game right now? The guy's like, yeah. And it was on a Sunday. He's like, well, didn't you just tell me that you needed $10,000 for payroll? He's like, yeah. He's like, so what are you doing watching the game? And the guy's like, it's Sunday. Sunday's supposed to be a day of rest. And Grant said, yeah, for people that have been working, you ain't been working. That's why you need $10,000. You need to get out there and start working. He says it a lot funnier than I do, but that's kind of the situation we're in. There's so many people that are so comfortable. We're comfortable with where we're at, and we're comfortable with like our good jobs and our good whatever. And there's nothing wrong with any of that stuff. But man, look, we are one pandemic away from financial disaster. We are one job loss away from financial disaster. We are, um, I don't know about you. I didn't come from money. My kids will, but I didn't come from money. So, a lot of us are living paycheck to paycheck. And a lot of us are a lot closer to financial ruin than we think. You know, our culture says get in debt, buy a house as soon as you get out of college, go to college and get $50,000 worth of debt, and now you've got, $250,000 worth of debt by the time you finish college, and just pay that off till you die. Just keep working, work, 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 work. And it's like, guys, we can't do that anymore. We have to live our lives a better way, and there is a better way. And that's why I want you guys to partner with me and get involved with Kingdom Gold, because we are going to re-educate a lot of people on what true financial success and true financial health is. And that is not so we can get fancy cars and houses and take all these trips and live at the beach and all this. It's to be able to help our parents when they're struggling, and when they if they need to go to a nursing facility, or if they need just some kind of help. It is to help our kids, get into good schools, and to, pay for their college instead of them going into $100,000 in debt. And it's to help people that we come across, to buy somebody a lunch. It doesn't have to be anything like major. We have to be and do as much as we can every day, as often as we can, for other people. And that is what I'm hoping, and that is what I'm going to do with Kingdom Gold. And everybody that partners with me and becomes a part of this movement, that's what we're doing. We are changing lives, futures. We're changing families. We're changing generational. Like there's some families I know that they've been like poor and broke and have had problems for generations. And we're going to put a stop to that, because we're going to educate people, but also help them get off the ground. So for any of you that, if any of this resonates with you, definitely, this is like required reading. This is required reading for your life. 10x rule, massive levels of action. We can't sit back anymore. We can't be satisfied with status quo, guys. We got to do better than that. So anyway, if any of this resonates with you, comment below, shoot me a message. We're gonna do this thing, man. We're gonna change the world one life and one family at a time. So you have a good night, guys. Catch you next time.